Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so I was trying to do a little homework on the situation now that Jrue Holiday is apparently being immediately retraded somewhere. Portland's decided they're going to try to do that. I was trying to see, is there any kind of way that the Lakers can make an offer that wouldn't hurt the Lakers? Now, whether or not the Blazers want to take that offer, probably not. They're going to have better offers for Jrue Holiday, I believe. But I wanted to see if we can make at least a competitive offer within reason. Now, according to the trade tracker, none of the guys that we just signed can be retraded. So the answer is probably not. But if we were to do something like that and make ourselves happy, it would be something like D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and Taurean Prince. And then the Portland Trail Blazers would be utterly stupid to take a deal like that. I'm just going to be completely honest with all my Laker fam. But if there's any way the Lakers can turn that into Jrue Holiday, we should do that. That's really all that I have to say about that particular side of the fence. I don't think the Portland Trail Blazers should trade Jrue Holiday. Between me and y'all, I don't. I think they should keep Jrue Holiday and trade Anthony Simons. That should be the move. Because at the end of the day, Jrue Holiday is a lockdown defender, an NBA champion, and somebody who can teach Scoot the ropes. And somebody who can be the starting point guard if for some reason Scoot gets off to a bad start for any reason. Anthony Simons is a guy who does a lot of what Scoot does. He's an efficient scorer, assist guy. He's not defending anybody. So you don't trade away an enormously great defender and keep a guy on a $100 million contract that's kind of going to be lesser than what he's supposed to be because of the presence of Scoot. You're not going to win anything that way if for some reason Scoot goes down. I don't expect Anthony Simons to be able to elevate you to a point where you feel good about your situation. Now, he's younger than Jrue Holiday and probably has less demands on his own timeline, but with all due respect for Jrue Holiday, you don't have the cachet, Drew, to force me to move you from Portland. I'm not going to do that. I'm happy with you, and you're going to be happy with me too. And that's how I look at that from the Portland Trailblazers. But I guess they have a bit more of a different way of looking at it and a different plan. But for me, if I'm the GM of the Portland Trailblazers, nah, Drew's here. It's Anthony that's out. So, excuse me, I'm actually eating lunch right now. But nevertheless, it's one of those situations where I'm telling you guys, the Lakers probably don't have a path to getting Jrue Holiday unless we give up something we don't want to give up. Like Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, that's out. I'm not doing that. But if we could turn D'Angelo Russell and $17 million on a 2-year deal into Jrue Holiday, then obviously we'd be ready to do that. Throw in your Gabe Vincent and something else that, that we really appreciate. We like these guys, but it's Jrue Holiday, man. Let's go. LA's finest, you know what I'm saying? One of the best defenders in the world, NBA champion. I think he would elevate us into a championship status. Now, some would say that's a good package, Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves for Jrue Holiday. I don't think, put it like this, if those players were elsewhere and I didn't have my heart attached to those players, I'd say the Bucks should probably consider something like that, or not the Bucks, whoever, if they were on other teams. But for us, no. As a Laker fan, nah. I'll move some of them dudes I just got, but not players that were with me last year. No, I'm not doing that. And I don't think Portland should be willing to take anything less than Austin Reeves and, Rui Hachimura. That's what I would want if I'm Portland. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to rebuild their situation. They're going to want young talent. And Austin's one of the best contracts in the world. I mean, anybody should want that. That's another reason why I'm not interested in moving it at all. At all. So that's out. I think that would probably almost be unanimous with the Laker Nation. We're not looking to move Austin for anything really. And Rui, we're very excited about as well. But D'Lo, we moved D'Lo. We know that. Gabe Vincent, thank you for choosing us. But if I can get Jrue Holiday, I'm just going to make that happen, man. And of course, Taurean Prince on a 1-year deal. He probably won't be here next year anyway. He might trade him at the deadline anyway. So that's not a thing. But again, just to double back, if I'm going to move Jrue Holiday and I'm Portland, I'm going to have to get picks. And I don't know that they're not going to be able to, but I haven't really thought about who they would send him to that would want to do that. I don't know. There's a lot of the teams that have pick equity probably don't want to do something like that. Like maybe Utah, maybe, to elevate themselves a little bit. Maybe they throw in some picks or something like that to get a Jrue Holiday. Do they need a point guard? They put it like this. I have done the biggest 180 on a player that I've ever done in my life in such a short amount of time. Keontae George was somebody I didn't like at all before the draft. After the draft, he's somebody I love absolutely, just to the highest order. I think he's going to be a superstar one day. Never have I felt so different about a guy between what I've seen in their offseason in terms of the before the draft and just kind of looking at him as like a microwave scorer that's undersized, to a dude who came into Summer League and basically showed us that all of the weaknesses that he had been working on, and that he can go up to a level that's really, really high against lesser talent in the Summer League. I think he should be the starting point guard of the Utah Jazz as soon as possible. I don't know that they're not going to have the same problem that Portland does if they were to bring in Jrue Holiday. You know what I mean? Because now you got somebody in the way of him being able to step forward and be exactly who he needs to be. Plus, you got THT there, who's probably going to need the ball in his hands. You still got Colin Sexton, who's going to need the ball in his hands. They got a lot of guards over there in Utah. So while I don't think they have a big problem right now, because everybody's kind of slotted differently right now, and plus THT doesn't have to play the point guard position at all. If you bring Jrue Holiday there, don't know if that's the greatest fit. Now, I'm of the mindset that the San Antonio Spurs, I really do like Trey Jones. Is his name Jones? I don't know what his name is, but Tyus Jones' brother. I think it is Trey Jones or something like that. I really like him. He is good, very good, and he's only going to get better. He already had fantasy relevance last year, and so for me, I don't know that that's not much of more of a problem. If you believe in him as much as I do in San Antonio, you probably just want him to continue to move forward. So the players that, Boston should want Jrue Holiday. You lost, what's my guy's name? Of course, Marcus Smart. You have the trade equity to get him. That's a championship caliber team. If you put him on it with next to the guys that you have, Jaylen Brown, of course, Jason Tatum. I don't know what it would take to get him. Porzingis in place. Yeah, Jrue Holiday, that would be a great place for Jrue Holiday to go. Obviously contend for an NBA championship. Compete against his old team in Milwaukee. Stick it to Dame Lillard when we clearly know that he just told everybody that he wanted to be a Buck for life. Jrue Holiday did. Yesterday he was quoted saying this. And so with him being traded after winning the championship with them, nobody really saw that coming. I think he would love to go to Boston and just stick it to the Milwaukee Bucks, try to get them eliminated. So I think that would be a motivating place for him to go, and Boston has the trade equity to get him and the motivation to probably make that happen. So if I'm a guessing man, that's probably going to be the team that's interested. Toronto, we know that they signed Dennis Schroeder to a $14 million a year deal, but I don't think he's the answer at the point guard position. As a Laker fan who's had him for the last several years, off and on, of course, he ain't the answer at your point guard position, not if you're serious about winning. He's a hell of a player, but he's not the answer. So Jrue Holiday would be a nice shot in the arm for their team. And they have the trade pieces to do it, but I don't know if they get a lot better. It's probably lateral, to be honest with you. If you move like an OG Anunoby to get him. I don't know how much interest Portland had in OG Anunoby to begin with, but if you send him to a third team, maybe you can get some trade value for him, draft value for him. So these are things I'm just brainstorming. I don't know who's talking to the Portland Trail Blazers about Jrue Holiday. Obviously, I don't think they should move him at all, but there's going to be suitors. There's going to be suitors. I look at a team like Minnesota. They have win now. They have a win now attitude. A guy like Mike Conley is solid, sturdy, but you can definitely use the upgrade there with Jrue Holiday. I don't know that you have any picks at all or any young talent at all, but there should be some interest at least. I don't know what the hell they would move, but that's the problem with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're a whole nother story. But if they want to get better, I don't know that they can, to be completely honest with you. You got to start talking about trading Karl Towns if you're serious about really liquidating yourself to have the assets necessary to make a move, which should be something they'd be considering doing, to be honest with you. I like Karl so much as the next guy, but he's not going to elevate them in that situation there. Not the way they want to be. And he's more likely to get hurt than to win a championship. So, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. If I'm from the Portland Trail Blazers, I've always had my eyes on Karl Towns, even though I just brought in DeAndre Ayton. It ain't going to be nothing for me to flip Ayton again, too, if I'm Portland. And that's another thing. Portland could totally flip Ayton. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, he's a solid center, but I think that that's also a trade piece now that's in place that can help net you what you want. So that's kind of how I'm looking at what Portland just received. I don't think they should really be married to anything they just received, to be honest with you, except for Kamara, who's going to be a role player with some upside over the next several years who could turn into something. He's a rookie right now. But everything else, man, Portland doesn't have to be married to anything other than Shaedon Sharpe and, of course, Scoot Henderson. and that horrible albatross of a contract of Jeremy Grant, for which if anybody would want to take that, I'd want that off my books, but they just signed him to that. They're probably excited about that, so whatever. I wouldn't be. I'd want that gone now. So these are the type of things I'm thinking about in regards to Portland. Drew Holiday, where else could he possibly go? You know, there will be plenty of suitors, because at the end of the day, even if you have a point guard, he can play the shooting guard position and lock up anybody. You know, so if you have defensive issues, you should want him. I know a team, Miami. Miami should be feeling like they need to make a move right now. And I'm telling you this, just to kind of segue into a different conversation, even though I'll probably double back. Jimmy Butler just released this little snippet statement where he essentially said that the Milwaukee Bucks need to be investigated for tampering. That's not where your focus should be, Jimmy. Your focus should be on demanding a trade out of Miami. That's what your focus should be. You cannot win there anymore. I don't believe in heat culture to the point where you can take a bunch of young guys that haven't proven themselves and a bunch of guys that are aging after coming back from playing so many long seasons that you guys have played in a row, been in the Eastern Conference Finals in a row. You guys are tired in every way possible. In every way, shape, and form, you are a tired franchise right now. And you need to understand that the only reason why you weren't able to get Dame is because you refused to move Jimmy. Now Jimmy's stuck there next to Bam with basically Jaime Jaquez and, Nikola Jovic and Tyler Hero, which is not good enough to do anything in the Eastern Conference right now. That's it. That's the bottom line. You need to go try to get Drew Holiday, and I don't know that you can actually do that. I don't even know if you have the trade equity to get him from the Portland Trail Blazers. So that's why if I'm Jimmy, I'm not thinking about no tampering. I'm not thinking about what didn't work out. I'm thinking about where I want to play. Get the hell out of there, bro. You need to be going to San Antonio. You need to be going to Utah. You need to be trying to see if you can get somewhere else. Because at the end of the Philly, go back to Philly, even though that ended kind of funny. I would want to get the hell out of there if I'm Jimmy, man. I would, because ain't nothing about to happen there. Y'all can keep on living off that heat culture lore if you want to, but it ain't the real thing when you start looking at how much they've been depleted and who they're going to be relying upon this year to play at a high enough level to get to where? Y'all trying to win a championship with what you have? Did you see what just took place? There's no way you're doing that. So, yeah, Jimmy needs to get his head on straight. Don't worry about what Miami didn't get. Find out where you want to go and get there. That's what I'm talking about. Enough of this. And Bam, same thing. Even though Bam's contract's a bit, it's a little more tricky to move, and his timeline is a bit more, ready for a rebuild because he's not old, he's not young. Bam is still a guy who he probably has still another 7-8 years left in his career. So even if you have to rebuild, you feel a lot better with Bam being a part of that rebuild if you had to choose between one. But Jimmy still got another all-star season or two in his career. You do not want to waste that in Miami, wearing your body down, playing next to guys that haven't proven themselves. You need to get the hell out of there. Straight up. Right now. So that's what I'm looking at, man. I don't know that Miami overplayed their hand in regards to not wanting to move certain players. I don't know that you could have made Dame happy in the long run if you would have depleted too much. I think he's in a better situation basketball-wise right now, Milwaukee. But just the same, you guys could not afford to let the free agent pool dry up like you did. That was bad. That was really bad. And now you look something like the Lakers did last year, but you ain't got Anthony Davis. You ain't got LeBron James. You understand what I'm saying? That's not the level of talent those guys are. I'm sorry. I like Bam and Jimmy, but they ain't that. And they don't have the path to making the trade at the deadline to make them as good as they're going to want to be. Miami, you didn't get Dame. And I only believe at this point that the best thing for you to do is blow it up. Blow it all the way up. Pat should want this. Bam should want this. Jimmy should want this. It's time to go, man. Y'all about to waste a season that because you're going to be so top heavy and Tyler Hero can't stay healthy. Duncan Robinson's finally going to get the usage that he's being paid to play for. Jovic's coming off a broken leg, even though I really like the player. Jaime Jaquez, from what I understand, had a he had some type of rolled ankle or something in the summer. And he's a rook. No. Y'all need to trade stuff right here and now. You didn't make the moves that you should have made to get Wood. You didn't get Washington. You didn't get Oubre. You didn't do all this stuff because you thought you were going to be able to get Dame when everybody in Portland was telling y'all that package wasn't going to be done. If that package was good enough to get done, it would have been done right away. You never had it. You never had it. And you let the free agent pool dry up because you thought that Dame was going to force his way to you when he did not have a no trade clause. At the end of the day, they didn't have the legal forcing to send him to you. You made a decision to act as if it was in place, and now you're left with practically nothing. Very disappointing, Miami, especially with the market that you have. Anybody and their grandma probably want to play in Miami. But you were waiting on something that you could not get because of stupid stuff that you did leading up to this. And that's why you didn't have enough. Enough. It's time to make a trade to blow it up. And if you're not doing that, then I'm going to say something that's going to be very controversial. The owner needs to fire Pat Riley. It's time, bro. It's time. It's time to stop looking at the past with the Lakers and looking at the past with LeBron and Wade and look at what's been going on since that all ended. It's been bad, and you guys have been getting away with it because you have one of the best coaches ever in Erik Spoelstra. And he's been able to make something out of nothing. But you have even less than nothing now, and it's going to be very difficult to make anything out of that. And I'm telling you, if I'm Erik Spoelstra, I'm starting to wonder if I want to continue to coach with this team. That's how serious this is getting. I have to wonder, because I told y'all I thought they should blow it up before they even make the playoffs, and they just so happened to go on a fantastic run. Those guys did a great job. They found a way. A lot of Heat fans, I've been listening to y'all. Y'all seem to think that the Heat culture is going to be the same thing. You're going to be able to pull somebody out of nowhere, get a guy off the street, and it's going to be great for you guys. I'm telling you, you don't have enough anymore, man. Even if you do get some guys coming off the street. With the East getting stronger, Boston, obviously Milwaukee, the Knicks got plenty of package deals that they can make to get better. That's another thing. The Knicks are a team that can do something, anything they want to do with those 7 picks that they got, and Julius Randle and all that. They can get better. Teams have gotten better around you, man. Orlando's getting a year older. Paolo and those guys. You know, I don't know. Charlotte's a team that's very strong right now. If you look at what they have, the future is very bright there. Cleveland, all they need is a bench. That's all they need. And so for me, it's like Miami. You are slotted behind just about all of those teams right now. Just about all of them. And so the Heat lure culture, all that crap, if you don't have any talent to play in a uniform and you're relying on people to get off the street, it's something that I don't see coming. I don't see that coming. If you're able to pull that off, we'll give you your credit. But I'm telling y'all, your best bet is to reset. Reset your timeline right now. Trade Jimmy, trade Bam, trade anything that isn't under the age of 28. Like, honestly, if you're not under 28, you need to be out of Miami right now, because they just are not going to be able to do much with you, man. And the stuff that they have isn't worth a damn. They don't have their picks. That's another reason I'm trading Jimmy for picks. I'm trading Bam for picks so I can reset my situation and actually be able to build something properly. This should have told you everything you need to know about your asset class. Kyle Lowry, he ain't worth nothing. Duncan Robinson, zero value, man. Even Caleb Martin coming off a really good year. Nobody cares, bro. We watched him play like nobody for many years. So it's like it's not going to work, man. Nobody's fooled by any of this. So that's why I'm telling Miami. I hope they're heeding what I'm saying. This is very important. If you don't do this, you're going to find yourself with 7 more years of bad luck. And I say 7 more because you've gotten close to the finish line, but you were never good enough to do anything. When you saw us in the bubble, we wiped the floor with y'all. Jimmy Butler was playing like one of the greatest players of all time in that bubble. Nobody remembers. We wiped the floor with y'all. Every time y'all get to where you want to be, you're very close, but very far. And that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable when you know you can get close with so little. Can you imagine if you actually did good things? You probably have 4 championships to represent it. And you would have probably had a dynasty if you would have did good things. And so that's my thing. Is like everybody saying, oh, we can do so much with so little. Why would you want to do so much with so little when you can do so much with so much? Reset. If you believe in your culture, then you know you can reset and be great. So that's really what it comes down to, man. Jimmy needs to get the hell out of there today. I would want to be traded right now. I wouldn't be talking about no kind of tampering in regards to Milwaukee, nothing. Get me out of Miami. I want out. That's all I'm saying if I'm Jimmy, because they ain't winning nothing there, and you're probably going to have an injury year because of it, bro. They're going to wear you down. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. Get me to Denver. Get me back to Philly. Something. Get me to a team like Utah. Jimmy and Utah would be nuts. You know what I'm saying? Guys don't have an imagination for this type of stuff. But if they were to go where they could go, where things can be brought to them and they'd have equity and all kinds of stuff, where the GM is good and all that, man, guys would be winning championships. They're leaving championships on the board because they want to play in certain locales. And I just hope the next generation is smarter than these guys, man. Straight up. So that's what I got to say, man. Enough of this Miami Heat crap. It's over with. Y'all didn't get Dame. Your team sucks right now. That's it. Period. So, yeah, I'm disappointed in them to the highest order because this was foreseeable. Just like I said yesterday. You know, teams like Toronto thought y'all were going to get a chance. You ain't got nothing that can offer, make a real offer for Dame Lillard, man. That's why he's not on none of y'all teams, bro. Maybe that's where Jimmy goes. Maybe you try to do a OG Anunoby and pick swap for Jimmy. That's a good deal. Toronto gets elevated quite a bit if they get Jimmy Butler. Keep Scotty Barnes. That's some real defense right there. You know what I'm saying? But the guys got to have an imagination for these type of things. So that's where my head is, man. Portland is ready to move Jrue Holiday, one of the best defensive players in the league. There shouldn't be too many teams that don't want him. Shouldn't be too many. If you have real playoff aspirations and you got the ability to slot somebody in at either the 2 guard or the 1 guard, you should want Jrue Holiday. You know, that period. Even Golden State. With that crap you're doing with CP3, that is garbage. That should be turned into Jrue Holiday if at all possible. And if you're going to make anybody play the 2, make Jrue play the 2, and make Steph Curry be the point guard he's always been, one of the best point guards we've ever seen. That's what I want to see. Bring them some defense, man. Golden State Warriors are another team like the Miami Heat. I don't think you should blow it up because you really do have a dynasty core that just won 2 years ago. Miami went to the finals last year. Some of y'all saying, what the hell? What's the difference? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and those guys have many championships. That's the difference. How many rings does the Miami Heat have for their efforts in making the playoffs and doing all this good stuff in the Eastern Conference Finals? How many rings they got? I'm not talking about what they've won before these guys out here. I'm talking about what they got right now. How many rings they got? And that's why it's not the same as the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors do have trade equity to go get a Jrue Holiday. They got Jonathan Kuminga. They got Moses Moody. You know what I'm saying? They got a few picks. They got Klay Thompson. Even though I'm not in love with moving Klay Thompson. From what I understand, they could find themselves in a very sticky situation if they offer Klay Thompson an extension. I still don't want to move Klay Thompson. It's a culture thing for me. I wouldn't want to do that. But some of them other young guys, Moses Moody is a nice player. He's going to continue to get better. Jonathan Kuminga would be much better somewhere else. So he would be much better with somewhere else. Although I think he would be the one to benefit the most from Chris Paul being on the floor with him. But I don't think he's headed where he needs to go in the Golden State. I don't think so. He's somebody who's going to play better somewhere else, in my opinion. Mike Dunleavy picked up Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay should be in China, man. What are we doing? Golden State is annoying me to no end because they keep doing stupid stuff, bringing in old men. You have an old team. You need young talent around old men, not old men that make old men feel better about being an old man squad. The Lakers did that 2 years ago. You know how bad we were. Couldn't keep anybody healthy. It's not about what you have. It's about what the field is. The field is full of young bodies, bro. Y'all gonna get your heads knocked off. Think the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. How long did it take for him to get hurt? 4 plays? That's what the Golden State Warriors are looking at, putting all these old men on the team. Period. Learn. It's not about how comfortable and all they got veteran leaders. Nah. You're going up against young bodies. They can run. They can push. Human evolution, 10 times stronger. Y'all gonna get the injury bug biting y'all hard, man. Make some moves to get younger or make some moves to make more sense. A Jrue Holiday is a sweet medium. He's not too old, but he's still old enough with a championship in his belt to make y'all better. Turn some of them young players into Jrue Holiday if you want to be an old team. And stop this Rudy Gay, Chris Paul garbage. It's absolute garbage. So that's what I have to say about those things, man. I'm just looking at teams that could use Jrue Holiday. Golden State is definitely one of them. You know what I'm saying? All these teams could use him. All of them, really. I'd like to see Jrue Holiday next in New York. Now we've doubled back to New York. Jalen Brunson could use a defensive player right next to him. That would be great. I like that. I like that a lot. They ain't doing nothing with what they have, and they have nothing but trade equity to give to somebody else for stuff that can really help them get over the top. You know? But at the same time, I do like Emmanuel Quickly getting opportunities, and he ain't going to get that with another guard, so it's a lot to think about. But, you know, the Brooklyn Nets, I'd love the idea of seeing Drew Holiday join them, even though they're not quite going to get over the top. They're just going to hover in no man's land for a long time, if you ask me. Brooklyn Nets, they're nowhere, man. Some of these teams, they have too many guards, so they're not going to be able to do nothing like that. Cleveland, no. Charlotte, obviously, no. Just brainstorming. Dallas, no. Drew is not going to be somebody you can slot in into 3. That's another thing. You can get away with it at times, but not permanently. Absolutely not. And neither is Anthony Simons, which is why they need to move one of those two into Portland. So, yeah, man. Clippers would be a good spot for Drew Holiday. Unfortunately, they don't have the package. They're one of those teams like Golden State. They can't seem to evaluate talent properly. Keep bringing themselves names and not talent. Guys that are old, they ain't really doing nothing for them, but they think they are, and then they try to trade them for something and they realize they don't have nothing. That's Clippers. That's Clippers, and that's exactly what Golden State's going to turn into right now, too. So it's it's stuff like that. Golden State, I love the idea of having the Iron Man up there. Kevon Looney. But a part of me thinks that you should probably be looking to move Kevon Looney for a real center. You didn't want to bring in Dwight Howard. I don't blame you for that. Although I would have rather have him than old Rudy Gay. If I had a choice, I'm going to take Dwight right now over Rudy. But that's just out of positional need alone. Why don't y'all want a center in Golden State? Why are you going for the small ball? I know Kevon's somebody you can count on to play through hellfire and brimstone. The guy doesn't get hurt at all. But he's a 4. He really is. He's an undersized center. Without a running mate. You got, you got to ask yourself about Draymond Green. Do you really think Draymond Green's going to stay healthy this year? How much older do you want him to get? In modern NBA when he can't shoot? I'd have moved Draymond a long time ago, personally. I'm cool. After he knocked out Jordan Poole, I was cool. He should have been moved. But y'all re-signed him for culture reasons. Fair. He can facilitate. Fair. But now you brought in Chris Paul. So you don't need him to facilitate as much in theory. Although you never did, because Steph Curry's a fantastic facilitator, very underrated in that way. It's just a bunch of nonsense in Golden State. I'm telling you, it's garbage. It really is. It's trash. I don't care what nobody tells you. There's a bunch of garbage in Golden State and the Hall of Fame core. That's it. And Moses Moody, of whom I really like. So, that's what it is, man. I like Wiggins, but I can move Wiggins. If I'm going to do all this dumb stuff I'm doing, I can move Wiggins and turn him into something young. I like the shooter that they just picked up in the draft. Big fan of him. I like the power forward they picked up in the draft, too. But are you going to have a chance to play them, or are they just going to be more guys that are sitting behind old guys? Dunleavy, what are you doing? Nothing is the answer. So, yeah, these are the thoughts, man. Some of these teams irritate me to no end, just like my Lakers used to irritate me before we started doing things properly, which is why I started my channel, because we were doing stuff like those teams, Clippers, Golden State, Miami, and doing dumb stuff. We stopped. And look where we are. We're in a position to have the deepest team in the league, arguably the best books situation in terms of our cap in just a couple years. Because when you start doing things correctly, it doesn't take long to turn it around, which is why some of these teams need to blow it up and not be afraid to do so. Indy's on their way. If you ask me, maybe Indy could turn a couple of their guards into Drew Holiday. Feel pretty good about that. Bruce Brown. That's a nice little landing spot because they got a lot of guards, but it's not that they can't upgrade some of those guards. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton, fantastic defensive player. You put Drew Holiday next to him, Bruce Brown, that's lethal, man. I don't know if you want to trade some of them young guys you just drafted for Drew Holiday necessarily. A guy like Andrew Nembhard, I try to keep him on the team next to Drew Holiday. Suddenly they have one of the best defensive guard tandems in all of basketball and nobody even know it. So these type of things I'd be considering, man. Buddy Hield. I don't know if Portland has any interest in Buddy Hield, but I'd be moving Buddy Hield. Definitely not Ben Mathurin, but Sticks. Buddy Hield, Sticks, and who else? Maybe another one of those, maybe someone else that I'm not thinking about on that roster. Try to see if I can get Drew Holiday with a pick or two attached to that, send that to Portland. That's a nice little return package for Drew Holiday, I think. Yeah, I'd be thinking about that. Indy's one of them low-key teams that really is only a piece or two away from really doing something, especially since they picked up Bruce Brown. You're talking about defensive players at every position. Every position. Jarris Walker's an excellent defender. Miles Turner is an excellent defender. Matherin's an excellent defender. Nembhard, excellent defender. Tyrese, an excellent defender. They got nothing but defensive talent. And if you add Jrue Holiday to that mix, now you got a champion on top of all of that. You know, move Buddy Hield, get him out of here. I'm telling you, look out for Indy. They're another team that, in my opinion, could potentially have more talent on the floor than the damn Miami Heat. Another team that they're going to have to slip behind. So it's like, look, that's what it is. Miami should blow it up because everybody around them is getting better, and they got worse. And they're not even a complete basketball team right now, and I don't know how they're going to be able to become that because they're going to trade stuff they don't want to trade to become complete. So, enough. Blow it up. So that's what I got to say, man. That's where we at with that. I'm sure there are other teams that can make a move to get Jrue Holiday. I know the Orlando Magic may want to get a little older. They have some guards to move, although I really like Markelle Fultz going forward. Markelle's got all-star upside from here, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but he does. Anthony Black, I like him a lot, but I don't know that he shoots well enough to slot next to who they have, Fultz. Black and Fultz. And then, of course, they're talking about moving Cole Anthony. That's a player that should be able to get you somewhere. But see, what you're going to find out is, and we've talked about this earlier in the summer, is that a lot of teams just by default are going to have log jams at the point guard position. There's more guards than there are roles. So somebody's just going to have to accept that they got guards that are going to have to sit. And we said this about the OKC Thunder. They just got too many guards, man. A guy like Cason Wallace, you want him to have his own situation. And he's going to be slotted behind a bunch of guards that are never, ever going to allow him to slot up into the stardom that he was supposed to be drafted to be. It's the same thing we talked about in Sacramento with Davion Mitchell. Where's the path to Davion ever being a starter? He's in the same situation as well. And we said that about Charlotte. But what I came to understand is that even if they move some of these dudes around, you're going to find out you're going to have log jams to the places that they get moved to. It's just is what it is. The NBA needs to expand more teams so that these guys can have real roles. So, the NBA, they must do that, and they must do it soon because it's only going to get more guards in this league. That's all it is. So, yeah, man, we're paying attention to the NBA. We're back in the swing of things. It's been a couple months off since stuff has been going on in my personal life, but now that we have this trade popping off, there is a lot to remember and consider, and a lot of these teams in this offseason did not help themselves as much as you would think they did. So that's pretty much my opinion. We'll see if it actually shakes out. I've been wrong before. I certainly was wrong about Denver, but even in looking at Denver, I realized that they were fortunate to have kept their health. Going into this season, they didn't get better, and they're still very shallow. Can they stay healthy? If I'm Denver, I might want to get involved in the Jrue Holiday situation. I don't know who I'm trading, and I haven't really been thinking about that, but I think Denver should get involved and try to get some depth, man. They need to be doing what Phoenix did. Making sure they have just enough guys that they can trust so that if a guy rolls an ankle, a guy blows a knee out, you don't fall off a cliff. And I'm telling you, Denver's not in that position right now. They're definitely not. So a lot of people are just shooing them into the finals as if Jokic is going to be able to do it. And, when was the last time you seen Jamal Murray stay healthy? Porter played with a whole brace in his back the whole season. Is he going to be able to take that out this year? Denver is an optical illusion. And people need to understand that about Denver. They're an optical illusion. Yes, they won, but the odds of them being able to stay healthy with them using so few players again after going this deep in the playoffs and winning a championship, I don't have them win the championship this year. I really don't. I do not. And another team that people need to stop forgetting about is the Sacramento Kings. Y'all know how good that team was last year. They didn't get any worse. They didn't lose anybody. They didn't lose anybody. They brought in an extra good center, from what I understand, from overseas, a guy that they're really excited about, a rookie from Europe. I can't think of anything that they actually lost, man. They bring back everybody. So don't expect Sacramento to not be at the top of the Western Conference. I do. They're going to be right up there with Phoenix. They're going to be right up there with the Lakers, right up there with whoever else y'all think is going to be there. Sacramento's a real one. So, and Davion Mitchell, he's getting better. Even though he hasn't been able to excel to being a starter, that boy was drafted 6th overall a couple years ago, and he ain't getting no worse. So look out for Sacramento. They are on my radar. I don't know if everybody else in the Western Conference remembers they there, but I ain't forgot. The beam is going up. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.